Shalom and greetings from Jerusalem and Jane. I want to get this update out to all of you as breaking news are coming out of Israel. As of early this morning, Hamas chose to break this humanitarian pause that was going on. I know that people have been using the word ceasefire, so has I, but it was not a ceasefire. It was a humanitarian pause in the fighting in order to give Israel a chance to bring home their children, their mothers, their grandmothers, who was held captive inside the Gaza Strip for 50 days under the most horrific conditions. Every day at 7 a.m. the current ceasefire would expire, and before that it was agreed upon that Hamas should release the list of the hostages to be released later in the day. Hamas chose not to do that this morning before 7 a.m. and around 5:30, I believe it was, rockets were fired from the Gaza Strip from terrorists inside to Israel, meaning Hamas chose to break this humanitarian pause and the war is back on. I want to read to you what the Israeli government, the statement that they came out with. This is a statement from the Prime Minister's office. The ISIS-Hamas terrorist organization has violated the outline. It has not met its obligation to release all of the women hostages today and has launched rockets at Israeli citizens. Upon the resumption of fighting, we emphasize the government of Israel is committed to achieving the goals of the war. Releasing the hostages, eliminating Hamas, and ensuring that Gaza never again continues a threat to the residents of Israel. So the Israeli Air Force started bombing terror targets inside the Gaza Strip, and since then we have had red alert in the southern part of Israel, in the communities around the Gaza border going up to Ashkelon. So this is what is happening right now. If you wonder why the Israeli military continue or is back on inside the Gaza Strip, wanting to eliminate all of these Hamas terrorists, let me remind you. They murdered Israeli women, as you can see in this horrific photo. They dragged them down the streets. Her pants is pulled down to her knees, and she was savagely raped in the street and left in this undignified way. They murdered and they burned our babies. They burned alive young people who was at the Nova Music Festival. The list goes on and on and on of the atrocities that Hamas committed on October 7, together with also Islamic Jihad terrorists and also civilians who came in and looted and took part of the raping of women inside Israel, coming in from the Gaza Strip. Israel has every right to defend her borders. Israel has every right to say we don't stop until every single ISIS-Hamas terrorist is eliminated. And did you know that there are about 40,000 Hamas terrorists hiding in the tunnels beneath the Gaza Strip? There are still 137 hostages left inside Gaza. 137 hostages left inside Gaza, including a young family with the two boys, the two red-headed boys, Kafir, 10 months old, and his brother, 4 years old, Ariel. Hamas came out and said they were dead. They forced their father to that family. They told him that your family is dead, and they forced him into a psychological evil video, forced him to go out and speak, a video that is not being broadcasted here in Israel. You can rest assured, that's what I'm thinking, that this precious little family with the two babies that has made headlines all over the world, they are probably somewhere in safety, because when the Israeli boot is on the neck of the Hamas leaders inside the Gaza Strip, they are probably going to use them as bargaining chip. That's what I also hear some of the experts are talking about. If you want to know why we are still back in the Gaza Strip, I just listened to the testimony of one of the Saka workers. These are the holy workers, that's how I call them, from the Saka organizations. These are the ones who came in. If there's been a terror attack like we had yesterday, or what happened in the communities in the Gaza border, these are the ones who is coming in to remove the bodies of the people who was murdered, to find the body parts. By the way, they are still finding body parts 8 weeks later. And I listened to the testimony from this guy, and he was talking about, you know, they went from one house to another house, there were just dead bodies everywhere and they were burned. And he said, I continued and I continued until one thing broke me. I found a baby boy, a little baby boy. And not only had Hamas murdered him, but they had tortured him. He was lacking certain body parts. A little baby boy. And this man said, that broke me, because that little baby boy had the age of my daughter at home. And he said, I had to take a break. I couldn't do it anymore. And I couldn't even talk to my families for days about this, until my wife told me, you're doing holy work. You need to go back and help. It's a sacred duty in Judaism to literally go out and scrape up body parts so the whole body can be buried. We stand behind Israel's right 100,000,000% in continuing the fighting inside the Gaza Strip against evil Hamas terrorists, against evil Islamic Jihad terrorists. Israel went out today and they were throwing down leaflets inside the Gaza Strip with maps. They have used many days, the Israeli military, to make out maps over the Gaza Strip and say, if you live in that area, this is where you are safe. Move to this area. If you're in that area, move to this area. If you're in that area, move to this area. Who does that? Israel has been pounded about murdering innocent civilians when Israel is the army that has went out of their ways to protect the civilians inside the Gaza Strip, to tell them to evacuate, to throw down leaflets, say this is where you need to go, to call people. And that's what the Israeli military is doing again today. So that is very, very precious. So as of now, yes, the humanitarian pause has come to an end. Hamas violated it. I did see some reports about someone is trying to get that back on the table. But for right now, and I can tell you, I hear the Israeli Air Force above my house here in Jerusalem on the way to Gaza, that right now we are back in full swing. So pray for Israel for such a time as this, as rockets have started flying in again. Pray for all the soldiers who is doing holy work inside the Gaza Strip, saying, you know what, we are not going to live with this existential threat on our doorstep. We have every right to eliminate Hamas, so we don't say, okay, that's it, we are done, and then we have 40,000 Hamas Islamic Jihad terrorists inside Israel. One of the top Hamas leaders was saying in an interview, this is our right, and what we did on October 7th, we are going to do again, because the Jewish people, Israel, is going to be eliminated. So you understand why Israel has to go in and finish every single of these Hamas terrorists. So that's where we are at right now. This was just a quick first update of the day. I'm going to head out and do a little bit of shopping before Shabbat. But as always, I will keep you updated. If you follow me on Telegram, you're getting all the updates that is not allowed on my Facebook also. Go download the app Telegram, find Jerusalem Jane, and you will get minute-to-minute updates. Bye.